from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We don't need a countdown from 9 to 1. We don't need it. Don't need it. Actually, it was just the sleight of the finger. I hit the wrong button, but we're doing okay. Doing okay. But without further ado, I am your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callahan, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., 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 and all the way from in Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Vault, the Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
You know, not a lot of things really catch you by surprise here during the middle portion of the week, but then remembering, oh yeah, the NFL schedule is getting released literally right now, and there's a lot of matchups that have already been leaked out. We already know who's versing who in some of the international games, you know, first Monday night games, Sunday night, all that stuff there and in between. But, I mean, we got to get a full breakdown of what we're looking at here and where the Vikings are going to finish here this season.
Might as well start off the show going through the schedule here tonight. So I literally just got this right before we started. That's probably why I made that miscue on starting the intro instead of the
There's
countdown.
a lot going on right now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things happening.
And some bad, but some good. So let's start off. Week 1, the Minnesota Vikings will be taking on the New York Giants at New York on the 8th of September at noon. So we get a noon game. Voldy says win. I'm going to say win there too. Sam Darnold returns to New York, not against his former team, obviously, but you know how it goes. Another former team that he'll be taking on the week after is the San Francisco 49ers. So we got that going for us right about now. And then after that, another noon game. So we're hitting noon games like crazy. Noon, week 3 against the Houston Texans, and the 22nd of September.
I'm going to say loss on that one.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm probably even saying loss against San Fran.
Boy, that's going to be a heck of a homecoming for a few former Vikings. Case Keenum, Daniil Hunter, Stephon Diggs, your mom. No, not Mama Callahan.
No, she's a saint, damn you. The week 4, a bad place that is Green Bay, and that is at noon on the 29th of September. So I hope that's a win, but the way things are looking with Jordan Love, who knows? I don't know.
Hey, Vikings noon in Green Bay. Notoriously go towards the Vikings way. You get some of those late afternoon, Sunday night, Monday night games. Usually go the Green Bay way, but you get the Vikings at noon in Green Bay. I'll take a win on that one.
All right, I'll do that. So week 5, we will be heading across the pond. You guys already know this. The Vikings will be taking on the New York Jets, and that will count as a home game as well.
What?
Yeah, it does.
Trash.
Unfortunately. I know. Well, that's how they put it. They want to go out and spread the game out across the world, right?
Man, we do have a good following overseas.
They do.
They do. I'll give us that.
I don't like missing a home game though. You know what I mean?
No, definitely not.
But A-Raj comes back. But the Vikings have an early bye week this season. Last year, I think it was week 13. Now they get a bye week 6, so they're on a bye. Okay. Week 7, they will be taking on the Detroit. Oh, and by the way, the London game, 8:30 again. Bright and early.
Hey, at least I don't have to work on weekends anymore, so I'll be happy about
same.
that.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Kegs and eggs, baby. Kegs and eggs.
And then week 7 against the Detroit Lions. That is October 10th. October 20th. That's at noon, and that is at home. So we got that. And then the Vikings are headed to L.A. for Thursday night football against those Rams, my cousin's Rams, Jason Schmitz.
We better have
him
on him on that week.
Yep,
Just
we definitely will. Squad. Short week too, so we will definitely get him on there.
Get him booked now.
Hey, I no complaints here. And then week 9, the Vikings will be taking on the Indianapolis Colts at home again. Last time the Colts were in Minnesota, we all know what happened. Isn't that right?
We do.
The greatest comeback in NFL history, led by formerly kirkcousins. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. But we gotta roll through these real quick.
Yes.
At Jacksonville, week 10. I see that as a win for sure.
It's going to be a tough one, though.
I mean, it will be tough. Yeah, I think
Vikings tend to struggle in Florida for some reason.
Yeah, that's a good point. And
great
then
following, though. We'll have a great following down in Jacksonville, though.
That's true. That's very true.
Duval.
Week, and that's at noon as well. So the Indianapolis game at noon. The Tennessee Titan game, that's the next week. That's at Tennessee. That's another noon game for week 11. It's like they know the Vikings aren't going to be as good this year. But who knows?
Hey,
who knows?
They'll flex some games. They might get a flex here.
They'll get a flex, I think. And then the Vikings, on the 24th of November, they'll be taking on the Chicago Bears at noon as well. And that is at Chicago. So Caleb Williams, our first go at them. But they're away for 3 games. But guess what? They're home for 3 games here. So, and these are very winnable games. The week 13, that is a noon game, and they will be taking on the Arizona Cardinals. That's a win. That's pretty easy. Another noon game, week 14. Voldy, can you make a guess on who will be playing at home?
Week 14 at home. We definitely know it's not Seattle because we always play at Seattle for some reason. That'd be the Falcons, I believe.
Ding, ding, ding.
Kirk Cousins revenge game.
Kirk Cousins going to try to beat the Minnesota Vikings. It sucks because it is a noon game. Kirk's been very good at noon games. So, but you know what? To beat the best at the noon games, to beat them, you just got to beat them, right? You got to beat the top guy, right? For the noon games, I should say.
You got to beat the guy.
Yeah. And then the Vikings, Monday Night Football. Can you guess what team they're going to play, Voldy? Can you guess?
Probably, one of 2 guesses. If it's going to be Monday night, late in the season, it's probably going to be Green Bay.
No. Actually, no, that is incorrect.
Is it a divisional game?
Yes.
Oh, well, if it's going to be, Chicago.
Yes,
right?
Of course. Every year.
We always play Chicago on Monday night.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you, man. It's a Monday Night Football game. Why do they do that? I don't get it.
At least it's not on Halloween in Chicago because they always used to do that on Monday night in Chicago. Just not a fan.
I hate it when they play at Chicago because they play terrible.
But then they'd always have us like the first Monday night game. It's like week 2 at Green Bay. It'd be like the first game of the double
or the Eagles. Yeah,
exactly. Hate that. Not a fan.
So that game, Monday Night Football. But then guess where we go the next week in December? It's a 3:05 game, Foldy.
3:05 West Coast.
Yep.
Seattle.
Yep. That is at Seattle.
Always at Seattle. Come on. Stop doing that.
They hate us apparently. But you know how the Vikings did have the Green Bay Packers on New Year's Eve? They don't get it. It's actually the 29th. That is a noon game, and that is at home, thankfully.
Don't get that.
And then it's much like last year, Voldy. The Minnesota Vikings will be playing the Detroit Lions last game of the season. Time to be determined. So depends on how things go.
Hey,
So
at least we're not playing them 2 of the last 3 weeks of the season.
yeah. Voldy,
How that played out.
C Money is tuning in. Voldy, the ultimate irrational confidence guy, listening to this Vikings schedule.
And Minnesota sports.
Yeah,
It's always
that's
delusional.
True. It's true. We will talk more about that, especially in ARA. Tonight, we're talking Wolves. Voldy will have a lot to say. You and I will have a lot to say and a lot to answer for that one. And then after that, we're going to talk a little Twins. They've been on somewhat of a hot streak, but guess who they're playing? The New York Yankees, the dreaded New York Yankees. So we'll be talking about that briefly. And then Callahan School of Logic tonight. It centers around the NBA and how they discipline their players, and it hasn't been consistent whatsoever. And I'll explain a little bit more on that later on. And then ARA tonight centers around our Minnesota Vikings playing in London against the little fan action there for Voldy. It's a little toasty over there.
I don't
in the City
like
Studios.
wearing a sweater indoors when it was 75 degrees outside. Well, let's go Bruins.
Go Bruins. Luckily, I'm in a basement, so it's always cold, and I like it when it's cold.
I got an air conditioner about 20 feet away from me, and I'm not feeling any breeze from it whatsoever. It is a little cooler in here, though, so I'll take that. The sweater was a good play, though.
Yeah, good ideas there. So, Vikings-Jets, we'll talk a little bit about that. Caitlinclark made her debut in the WNBA. Talk more about that. Voldy's got thoughts on that. Kirk talks about the Penix pick. We'll definitely dive into that. Bronny is cleared to play in the NBA. We'll talk about that with the possibility of him playing with his father. But we'll see how that goes. And then the WNBA finally with going on charter flights. And then shield shoutouts. We got some cool shield shoutouts tonight. So, Voldy, we better get going since we got distracted with the Minnesota Vikings schedule. So let's get it going with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it's time for some Tater Tot Hot Take, and tonight we start off with the big topic around the state of Minnesota. Last week, Voldy, you and I were all in on these Minnesota Timberwolves. They were up 2-0. The Nuggets looked like they were throwing in the towel, literally. And
the heat pack.
And a heat pack, yes, true. And a heat pack. And they looked like they were going to take the defending champs. And I said on this show, and I don't hide from the fact that I said this, but I said they were going to sweep them.
Yep.
That didn't turn out to be the case. Voldy, you said gentlemen's sweep, I believe, Wolves in 5. But now both of our second revisions are now, not very good.
Even my first revision.
This has completely turned into the Wolves are on the brink of losing this series, and Jokic looks like absolute just unstoppable force right now for the Denver Nuggets. Aaron Gordon was hitting shots left and right in Game 4. I believe he was. People were even saying that he was very similar to one Kobe Bryant. He's making every shot and things like that. Game 3 was a disaster. They got destroyed. I was really hoping that they could pull it off and get that win. And they were not the better team, unfortunately, in any of those games. I watched the first half last night, and it just seemed, even though they're down 6 Voldy, it just didn't feel right, especially with Mike Conley out. Rudy Gobert got destroyed by Joker, but then again, that's what he does. That's why he's the MVP. So,
which is weird.
Zoners, I asked this to you, and I asked this obviously to Voldy. How you feeling now? How are we feeling now, Zoners, Timberwolves fans, Voldy? What do you got?
Not good. Not good
Yeah.
is probably how I feel right about now. I knew that the Nuggets were going to try and eke out a win of some sort in this series. I just didn't think it would be 3 in a row and complete domination in
Yeah.
that regard. Unfortunately, the Timberwolves have woken up the Joker, and that's not good. Because if he gets on a roll like he has these last 3 games, he is very hard to stop. The dude is just built like a refrigerator from the 1950s. You just don't know how to get around him and slow him down. Whatever worked in games 1 and 2, I think was more along the lines of maybe the Nuggets and take the Timberwolves all that seriously and just got back to that pesky sort of play that, got them through that first round against Phoenix. Now here we are with the defending champions, and the defending champions have finally decided to show up. I mean, just constant pressure, just getting to the basket. We're starting to see a little bit of some of the old, obviously Karl Anthony Towns getting in foul trouble. Just
Yes.
making those right adjustments is what Denver has really done since game 1 and 2, obviously, and just found a way to obviously take away the skill set of Rudy Gobert. Obviously, Mike Conley being hurt is a huge blow
Yes.
for the Timberwolves, not just from the standpoint of him being the point guard to facilitate offense up and down the floor, but just having that veteran presence in the lineup has been, obviously has been a very sore spot for them. And, obviously we made the bold predictions, Wolves in 4, Wolves in 5. I originally said Wolves in 6, but I mean, it's going to take 7 this series, and I mean, they're definitely going to have to come out to play with game, with game 6 and everything. But I mean, the way that the Nuggets have really played these last couple of games and just getting out to a fast start, and obviously just making shots is the big thing too. Wolves had a lot of trouble, could not hit anything really, and just on the other side, the Nuggets couldn't miss. When you've got Gordon hitting shots, and you're in for a long night, because 4 or 5 years ago that guy was dead on the wall basically. The only thing he was good for was the dunk contest, and now look at him. I mean, look at him at this point. He's rejuvenated his career in Denver, and again, he showed why he's held on long enough and still in the league too at this point. That experience has really played through for the Nuggets here, and it's going to be a tough one coming up.
It is. And, I didn't see this coming, because the way that the Wolves played, they swarmed Jamal Murray. They pissed him off royally. And I'll talk about that later in School of Logic. But I look at this Nuggets team, and they had a big break in between game 2 and game 3. And Mike Malone showed him all the people that were talking all sorts of smack about they're going to get swept by the Wolves. The Wolves look like they can win it all and things like that. And it's just like that Jordan meme. And I took that personally. And they did. And they just went and dominated that game 3. They went into game 4 with the same mentality. The Wolves fought back. It's just the Wolves were not ready, or the Wolves just didn't look like they were these past, in game 1 or game 2, even back to the Phoenix series. So you kind of scratch your head, what's not happening? Well, for one, the guys that were contributing before, like Nickeil Alexander-Walker, he's been okay. Jade McDaniels, he had a 25-point game, I think, against the Suns too, and he's struggled. He's been making some petty fouls, and you mentioned it. The fouls, Cat last night, he goes and he's taking on Jokic, and he, pushes his body into him and gets. Yeah. It's so stupid. Like he's getting his third foul in the first freaking half. Like, he should know by now that he needs to get his shit together.
Seriously.
And it's it's frustrating. He played better. Don't get me. He could score. He could do everything else until that Caldwell Pope went and tripped. He tripped, and Cat got tripped up and hurt his surgically repaired knee, or whatever. So it was a string of bad luck. I didn't watch the second half because we got jobs and whatnot. So I got to get my sleep. And so Jokic, this is how I'm going to put this, okay? Ant was swarmed last night. Having Conley out, I think, is a big proponent of that because he is the facilitator. And having Nickeil Alexander-Walker, yeah, it's fine. He can score and everything like that, but he's not Mike Conley. So that you factor that in, and it's too bad. They can't rebound either. They can't get points in the paint. They were absolutely obliterated points in the paint in the first half. It was like 26-10 at one point from all their points in the paint. So it's on them, yes, but I also know that people are going to rag on Rudy Gobert against Jokic, but you know what? He's on a different level right now. He is on a different level right now. And even if you double team him, his passing's even better. Like he is facilitating a big man. He just goes through the lane. Somehow he just makes it. Unbelievable.
Defies logic.
Really is. Defies logic. And, Mike Malone even said it after the game last night. He did everything for us tonight, and it was fun to watch, is what he said. And Ant said this, I just laughed. That's all I can do. Said watching him go off like that. So they've turned on a switch, and the Wolves don't know how to stop it. And the thing is, I don't see a lot of adjustments that they've made since game 3. So do or die. It's do or die on Thursday. Yep. Seymour says, T-Wolves fans feeling like that gif of Jordan Peele sweating aggressively. Yes. And,
definitely.
It's definitely true. And it's sad. It's so negative on the social medias too. I hate it. But that's just how it is. What are some trades for Cat that could be realistic this summer?
Yes.
Yes. That's a great question.
Capital.
Who wants him? I don't know. I think
New York, New Jersey,
or
he's an East Coast
Brooklyn.
guy.
I don't know. I just it's tough with his contract. I mean, it is. Yeah. He's still, he's still making big bucks, and the Wolves might have
Depends
to pay
on how
for
far
some
the
of
Knicks
it.
go.
Right. So I think that is up for debate after the series is over. But I'm looking at this game, and I'll ask this of you, Voldy. I ask this of the zoners. But now that this is our third revision, our first thought was Wolves in 7, which is still realistic.
Still on the
Wolves
table.
In 6, yeah, still on the table.
Completely off the table.
Yeah. So that's that's factored in. I'll save mine. I want the zoners' thoughts too on what they think the series will turn out to be. So, Voldy, as of right now, what do you have? What's the outcome here for our third try at this? Third time's a charm.
Third time is the charm, but I feel like the Timberwolves are going to find a way here. Game 6, obviously, it's do or die situation. Back is against the wall. Weirder things have happened. They get off to a slow start in Game 6, it's over. I'll come out and plainly say, if they get down by 10 in the first quarter, done for. No way coming back from that, especially with Jokic and the squad there in Denver. But they keep things close throughout the first half, eventually start to get a little bit more into the rhythm. I say they win Game 6, but then with Game 7 around the corner as well, let's see, because it'll be at the Target Center in Game 6, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So then that would Game 7 be in Denver then on that one? Or would that be at the Target Center?
That's at Denver. Yep.
That's at Denver.
Yes. You can say it. It's all right.
Nuggets in 7. I'd say it.
Well, that's probably the outcome, and
unfortunately,
I think that's very possible.
Yeah.
I hate to be a Debbie Downer here, but I'm going to say Nuggets in 6, and the reason why I say that is because I'm using reverse psychology because, when I make picks and stuff like that, it usually doesn't go well for me. So I'm trying to turn over and say, you know what, I don't believe in them. I don't think that they'll win. But then all of a sudden it could be Wolves in 7. And I'm wrong, and I'll be happy that I'm wrong. So, again, if you have to find a way to contain Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray, and do your best against Jokic. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I just think if the Wolves can kind of keep those guys in check, they got a chance. If they start going off like they did in Game 5, Game 4, even Game 3, then they're done. I mean, it's that simple. Granted, I give the Wolves some credit. It was fun with against the Suns, just sweeping them like that. Love it. We'll talk more about that. But the season isn't over yet. I'm holding out some hope that my prediction is wrong, and I want it to be wrong. I want the Wolves to win in 7. If the Wolves win in 7, that next round is looking very, very good for your Minnesota Timberwolves. Just saying. Just keeping it there.
Big time.
Seymour says, watching Cat trying to play defense for Coach Tibbs in New York would be comical. Yeah, that's a good point, but he's been rumored there still anyway, which is interesting to me. But I think that could change. I think Brooklyn seems like a place that would.
That's where careers go to die. Let's be honest.
Well, right. So I don't want him to go to a bad team. That's kind of maybe I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to go anywhere.
Yeah, you stay here.
That's me though.
So
I know as much about the NBA as my 3-year-old. So
you're still. I mean, it's your knowledge of the Wolves has gotten so much. I mean, it's just
because we keep talking about them. It drives me insane. I just want the Wild to be good, so we can talk about them more.
I know.
God.
I know. Let's get those contracts figured out, and apparently things are supposed to turn around. So I'm holding a lot of people to that with the Minnesota Wild. So, I will be making sure that they are notified and whatnot. All right. So we'll talk about that. Talk a little bit more kind of about that. It's kind of centered around some of what's been happening with the Wolves. We need Ant to go off too. I mean, don't forget, the guy that was compared to Jordan here. So I think, Seymour's on a roll tonight. Cole Munson has a better chance of making it to the Gambler tonight than the Wolves winning this series. That is
it.
I can't wait to show him
Good
that.
times.
He is going to die of laughter over that.
Shout out to the Blair.
And Cole was talking some trash. He said to you, Voldy, too. He said, I think he quoted saying that how is Voldy going to feel if the Wolves win a championship before the Wild? So.
Yeah, I don't feel good about that.
Well, we're going to
follow
follow
a little
up
bit better
with him.
now.
Yeah,
we'll check out here in a couple of weeks.
We'll see. But Seymour's not off, so. All right, well, let's talk a little positive here, all right? The Minnesota Twins, they've had a resurgence. They've actually started to play a lot better now. They're getting guys back. They got Correa back. They got Johan Duran back. They've got some stability with their pitching. Bailey Ober's been playing well. I'm still out on him, but we'll see how things go the rest of the season here. But Voldy, since April 20th, the Minnesota Twins have had a record of 18-5. Originally it was 18-4, but that was before they lost to the Yankees yesterday. So 18-5, but give them some claps. I mean, they haven't been playing any good teams really necessarily, but now that they're playing the Yankees, they're down 3-0 now. Who would have thought? Oh, the Twins losing to the Yankees. Who would have thought? It's just, it's always something. It's always something. So the Twins, it's pretty obvious. They get some guys back. Correa's been playing well. You have Jeffers. Oh my God, that dude has been hitting homers left and right. I think right now, if this will load up for me, 10 home runs for Ryan Jeffers right now. So claps off to him. He's hitting 290. So he's kicking
coming
ass.
from the guy that didn't have a hit in the first week of the season.
Yeah.
10 home runs, 31 ribbies, hitting 290, all leading the team, and a 368 on-base percentage. Those are real numbers right there. Don't give me any of this other, stat casts and sabermetrics, wins above replacement, all that other garbage. Can he hit the ball? Can he not?
Can he not?
Right now, Jeffers is hitting the ball.
The cover off the ball. So, it's good. It's good to see, them winning these series and whatnot. But we always come back to, it's going well, but how can the Minnesota Twins avoid getting swept and or losing the series to the Yankees? Because it hasn't been good. It hasn't been good in past history for the Twins. So what do you expect? And again, they're playing well too. So what can we expect here for the Twins in this series? Obviously, it hasn't started off well, especially right now. So what do you got?
I mean, looking at, of course, the series that we've got here with the Yankees, I'm assuming as well, because I'm looking at some of these other numbers here. I could get on a whole rant about some of these expanded batting stats as well.
Yeah.
Completely irrelevant, asinine numbers to begin with. But with this series you got with the Yankees too, obviously you got to be able to keep the ball in the yard. Aaron Judge hit another home run. Giancarlo hit one last night. That's not good in any stretch of the imagination. But of course, you've got the Yankees here in town. It's always going to be, obviously very one-sided affair. Really you got to be able to squeeze out and steal a couple here and there. I mean, you've got Lopez on the mound tonight going against, Marcus Stroman. Love the Stro show, but unfortunately things have been a little bit more towards the side of the Yankees when it comes to if they can really stay healthy is the big thing. Both sides, especially the Twins and the Yankees, they both stay healthy. Both squads stay healthy. There's no reason why they can't get on a good stretch and a good run as well. I think for the Twins, it's really about getting, obviously, Byron Buxton back. He's in AAA right now. Just saw he's in the lineup tonight with the St. Paul Saints. Get him back in the lineup, get him back into the flow of everything, and just really get that lineup back together. Obviously, we got Carlos Correa back recently, too. Get him a lot more comfortable. That's going to be a big thing here down the stretch. And the one thing that's really worked out for the Twins as of late is just, and we talk about all the time, is the fact that the starting pitching rotation has been holding up its end of the bargain. Lopez, Logan Ryan, Bailey Ober. That's a name I didn't think was going to be a major factor. Chris Paddock is having a really nice comeback season as well. I think Paddock's 3-1, 4-1 on the season. Unfortunately, he had a little bit of a rough go the other day, but he's 4-2 now on the season. I mean, he looked really well in his last start. Took it on the chin the other night, last night as well. But really a nice resurgent season for him. Obviously getting healthy. Stewart. And Brock Stewart as well. That's been a big help here. Is just the pitching is going to help the Twins here throughout the season. And one thing that's really been something that's been an eyesore here, it really pretty much throughout the whole 2000s, it's like, okay, if we can get 4 or 5 innings out of a starter, we'll figure it out with the bullpen from that point. Let's just try and get 7 or 8 runs and try to, keep the other team off the board. But it's been really helpful that this rotation that's come up in the last 4 or 5 years, I would say, has really started to solidify itself more and more.
Well, That's a good point. And Seymour says bat speed and exit velocity are the rave these days of Voldy.
So stupid.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? So what? He can swing the bat really hard. Is it going over the fence? Is it not? What? All right. We got to get on a tangent here really quick. I'm looking at some of these runs created per 27 outs. What does that got to do with if he can hit out of a double play or something? Walks per plate appearance. Okay. Isolated power. That's a number apparently. Okay, let's talk about secondary average. Where's the primary average? Is that the regular batting average? I don't know. It's so stupid. Stop making up numbers to make guys look better if they cannot hit the ball. Just stop doing it. Give me hits, runs, RBIs, home runs. Does he strike out a lot? Is he hitting above 300 or at least above 280? Anything beyond that is completely stupid and irrelevant. If he's good, he can hit. That's it. Stop creating all these numbers to make guys look better than they actually aren't. Had to get that off my chest. It is the most stupidest thing. No wonder why people hate baseball more and more, besides the fact we got to put a clock on everything nowadays. But I will say the pitch clock has been a little, it's grown on me little by little. We'll see how I feel about it in about 5 years. But all these expanded numbers, it's so stupid. Now to cancel out my boomer moment here, please continue, fine sir.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I wish we had more time to talk about that because that was great.
Save that for Voldy's virtues.
Yes, we will save that for virtues. But here's what I'm going to say real quick before we go into School of Logic. I look at this team and I say, okay, it's great that they're on this run. It's great that they're able to, take care of business against these teams that aren't as good as them. But now you're taking on the Yankees. They lost, 5-1 last night? Yeah. And, it'd be nice if I could actually watch the Twins. But thanks, Polads. I can't because of the Comcast Xfinity deal and YouTube TV. Voldy can't even see it. What do you got?
I will say, though, Major League Baseball and Roku just signed a deal to now broadcast games on Sundays nowadays. Oh, that's actually coming up here this coming Sunday. So something to look
maybe I can watch the Twins. I don't know.
But probably local blackouts, let's be honest, though.
Yeah, I don't think you can even watch it right now. I think it's a local blackout today or something like that. So, yeah, it'd be nice to know and watch. But, no thanks. Seymour says if a guy has 12 straight hits with 100-mile-an-hour exit velocity and they all turn to outs, is he a bad hitter or just unlucky?
You put it that way. I mean, guy's good enough. He'll find a way to get a hit, basically. I mean, look, honestly, stop hitting it at the guy then. Put it on the ground. Try to move it over. Bunt for a hit. I don't care. This is coming from a guy that didn't have a hit in 7 years of amateur baseball. But hey, I still kept plugging away. Great defender nonetheless. Found my way in the lineup. Still couldn't hit. I would be the 9th guy in the batting order and still wouldn't be able to hit. They'd find a way to DH me. Ask me how that happens, but nonetheless. Look, if he's hitting the ball hard, hey, that's great. But if it's not a hit, not irrelevant.
Yeah. Well, no truer words have been said. I want to quick. You mentioned the pitching. The pitching that has been going on with our Minnesota Twins, and it's very key, as we all know. Lopez is going to be the guy, and he's going to have some games where he's not as good and things like that. But they're down 3-0 right now, and he's been the guy that we can rely on. He can definitely, get things done as our ace technically right now. And I look at him. You look at Ober. You talked about Paddock, and they're actually, they're doing okay. I mean, the season stats for Lopez right now, 4-2. 3.89 ERA, and I say that because he's currently pitching right now. Hopefully things don't go awry. Get it? Awry. So he got that. And Ober, again, I'm still out. I'm still out because he'll have a couple, he'll have a stretch of games, but then he gets back to his old ways and getting rocked off of. So we got that going for us. And Varland, I think he's back with the Saints or something.
Yes.
He was supposed to be that next guy, but he's got a lot of work to do too. So that being said, let's just see how this, stretch goes. And, they're the only positive thing going on right now in Minnesota sports. It's bad. So go Twins.
Hey, here the Lynx just opened up their season.
They did, and they won. So good.
Hey!
There's props out to our Lynx. We'll have to talk to Zappa what he thinks of the Lynx here coming up. So we'll be talking about that at some point. All right. Let's get rolling with Callahan's School of Logic. I'll explain it after we get it going. So get your pencils, get your pens, get your notepads, the whole deal. It's time to go to the classroom for Callahan's School of Logic.
Class is in session. You're enrolled in Callahan's School of Logic.
All right, you know the deal. Get those pencils, pens ready, notepads, the whole deal. Tonight we're talking about the NBA conspiracy in regards to the punishments that they give out, and it's more specifically, I'm centering it around this whole Nuggets Timberwolves series. Now, before I say anything, I just want to make it known, just so people are aware. I in no way, shape, or form saying that the Wolves are getting screwed by the NBA and the series X, Y, and Z. I'm not saying that because the Denver Nuggets right now are the better team playing. They've won 3 straight. They've earned it. The Wolves, obviously, they can't stop them. And this in no way, shape, or form is saying, like, they're screwing the Wolves and, things like that. I am just explaining the lack of consistency that it is with their disciplinary actions. So let's get it rolling. And this series overall has been entertaining. I think you would agree too, Voldy. There's been a lot of drama. There's been, the Wolves, shocking everyone by going up 2-0 in that type of fashion, shutting them down. But it's been entertaining, but kind of for all the wrong reasons. I am not one for conspiracy theories, don't get me wrong. But this conundrum has gotten out of hand in the NBA. If Rudy Gobert is to be fined for making the money gesture at the referees, which happened back in March as well, which I think is ridiculous in itself, that the fact that it should be a fine for doing that. I don't understand. The NBA is going to have to explain that to me because it happened in March and now in May. Make sure, if you're the NBA, and I say this to the NBA, make sure when you're giving out these disciplinary actions that you do it to other players as well, not just Rudy Gobert, because a lot of guys have been doing the money gestures. For example, Jamal Murray, he did the same thing in Game 2, and guess what? Nothing came of it. Nothing. Nada. He did that, and he's throwing out towels. He's throwing out heat packs because he's angry with the referees, and I think it was first the towel, then the heat pack, or the heat pack, then the towel. Doesn't matter. He threw that out on the court. Could have caused severe injury, not only Karl Anthony Towns, but one of his teammates as well. And then the towel, throwing out, right behind the referee. Oh, they didn't see it, and everything like that. Yeah, I get it. Your back is towards it. But there is video evidence that shows what happened. And so the NBA punishes him for the towel and the heat pack. I mean, it's a slap on the wrist. And it should have been a 1-game suspension. There were 3 infractions that he should have been penalized for. And the fact that the only thing that they answered was 2 of the 3. The heat pack and the towel. Okay? Now, it's egregious to me that Gobert gets fined for doing this, and Jamal Murray didn't. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. The Wolves obviously had the dominant performance, 2-0 lead, going into the long break between Game 2, Game 3. The NBA thinks that if the Wolves go and sweep the Nuggets, they're going to lose viewers if they suspend Jamal Murray. Really? That doesn't make any sense to me. Why you would be like, oh, we don't want the Nuggets to get swept. We can't have that happen. So we're going to have him play, but we're going to fine him just to show that we disciplined him for $100K. Slap on the wrist for these players. Come on. If you're going to discipline somebody, suspend them. So if you're worried about ratings, and this is interesting, Voldy and Zoners. So overall, the NBA playoffs right now have been are lower than last year's, but there's one series right now that has exceeded expectations, and that is the Wolves and the Nuggets. Mm-hmm. If Jamal Murray was suspended, it wouldn't affect it because everyone is tuning in to watch the Wolves. They're tuning in to watch Anthony Edwards and this very good defensive team a week ago is playing well. I'll throw you some stats since they want to say, well, if we suspend them, that's what's going to happen. Our ratings are going to go down. So that the second round, Game 4 averaged 2.8 rating, 5.61 million viewers on TNT. Up 13% in ratings and 19% in viewership from last year's Nuggets Suns. That is an increase of 13%, 19%. Most watched game in the second round so far. You're not missing out on anything, but you care more about money in your pockets instead of doing the right thing and suspending Jamal Murray. I'm telling you, if somebody got hurt slipping on that heat pack, he'd probably be suspended the whole playoffs. I would. I mean, for goodness sake, he is clearly out to, do anything he wants because you know what? Oh, you can't keep him. Is that he gets the interview with after the whole fiasco. And he's like, it happened, whatever. It's over. Like, it happened. Blah, blah, blah. Do you think he should say, no, it happened, blah, blah. What a child. You're acting like a child, dude. Like, this is just stupid. He's acting like a little bitch. That's exactly what I was going to say. He's acting like a little bitch. And you know what? He's been playing well even after that. I mean, granted, I still think drives me nuts, but I hope the Wolves win. I really do. I really want the Wolves to win this series just to shut them up. So, the logic in this is that there is no consistency right now with the NBA disciplining players and holding referees accountable for their actions. Especially, a perfect example, Mike Malone. Getting into the face of a referee and not doing anything. They don't even give him a tech. They finally did in Game 5 last night when he was yapping at the refs. Where was that in Game 2? Where was that? He doesn't get a tech for getting in the ref's face like that? Going across the court? Come on. And again, I'm going to say it one more time. I am in no way saying that that's why the Wolves blew the 2-0 lead because of because game 3, game 4, and game 5, Denver was, in fact, the better team. The NBA right now cares about more about making money and, things like that. And every basketball fan is paying for their idiocy. So, that's kind of my whole rant on this whole thing. But the series is competitive, but the fact that they didn't suspend that little bitch, Jamal Murray, for throwing out the heat pack is absurd to me. Rudy Gobert gets fined. Did he? No, it was 75, wasn't it? It wasn't
75,000. Yep.
Yeah, he was fined 75,000. It's like, well, he was a repeat offender. Okay, well, what about when Murray did it? That's exactly what everybody's saying. So, it's absurd. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. The NBA, I'm very disappointed in Adam Silver right now, and it could have been a big difference in that game against the Wolves too. Not saying that it's the reason why the Wolves are, because they haven't played well. So, Voldy, your thoughts? What do you got?
I blame the break between game 2 and game 3. You gave a team an opportunity to really make the adjustments, maybe a couple of hard practices as well to find what didn't work in the first 2 games, and ultimately now win 3 in a row to get back and obviously get a chance to move on to the next round as well. The NBA was doing anything right in this world, which they hardly seem to ever do, hence why guys like Kyrie Irving, guys like Draymond Green still have jobs. Now even guys like Jamal Murray are still employed by the NBA. You have the right schedule set up. Game 1, game 2, back-to-back, if not one game, break, game the next night as well. And then you wait 3-4 days in between game 2 and game 3 there, going from a Monday into a Friday, I think it was when that game took place. I mean, come on. Yeah. Any other sport moves it up. You allow for a travel day, maybe 2 days in between. So you play on a Monday, then you're playing on Wednesday, maybe Thursday to allow for that travel day. We'll say a Thursday just to play it safe, but you give an extra day in between in just the second round to accommodate schedules and all that, and you gave a team extra ample opportunity to right a wrong. The NBA is doing everything it can to make sure the Wolves don't advance to the next round, but watch the Timberwolves do something completely stupid in the fact of win the next 2 games, go on to the Western Conference Finals, and do everything that they can to make it Wolves versus the NBA and go on from that point as well. Just the inconsistency in the punishment as well. No surprise there. It's the NBA. They couldn't punish a 5-year-old for throwing a tantrum if they could as well. They'd still say you're fined $25,000 and still do nothing about it and actually correcting the problem itself. They're just trying to do everything they can to keep their defending champion in the race right now. Sadly, it's working, but we still got game 6 and hopefully game 7 to right all those wrongs in this grand conspiracy, if at all.
I mean, that would be the biggest, middle finger to the NBA.
It would.
If the Wolves went and did that. Now, to even clarify, too, I mean, I was going to drop an F-bomb. I was going to drop an F-bomb with that because with
we're
Jamal
PG-13 now. We get 1 per show.
We do get 1 per show. I felt like that one was going to be warranted. That's why that's why I went back and was like, nope, we got to use it for. It's not worth the time with that because you know what? It's over, and they can't go back and be like, well, you're suspended now because we changed our mind. But I want an explanation from the NBA on why he wasn't fined for doing that same thing that Rudy Gobert did. Not saying anything but, well, he's a repeat offender. So when he did it the first time, you thought, oh, well, that's that resorts in a fine. Do it for other players as well. That's all I got to say. So, be consistent, but they're not. So screw you guys, I guess. All right. That's going to do it for School of Logic. Thanks for tuning in with that. We got a lot of air raids this week, Voldy. We got obviously the NFL schedule has been released. We started off with that in the show. The Vikings and Jets are set to play in London. Kirk talks about the Penix pick. Bronny cleared to play in the NBA. And CaitlincLark makes her debut in the WNBA and the WNBA finally. Charter flights. So I say we get it going with some Absurd or Approved.
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, it is time for Absurd or Approved. So, Voldy, why don't you rattle off for us, please?
With, of course, the NFL schedules being released earlier today, we did find out the names, dates, and times of the international series that will be taking place here this season for the NFL, all starting off with September 6th. The Green Bay Packers will take on the Philadelphia Eagles in Sao Paulo, Brazil, of course, but that's not the matchup we're really looking at. We are looking at, I believe it's going to be Week 5 matchup with the Minnesota Vikings being the home team against the New York Jets. Yes, the Vikings take on an old familiar foe in Aaron Rodgers, potentially, if that Achilles holds out. And the New York Jets across the pond going to be playing in the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as well for Week 6. But, of course, the series will also include the next few weeks with, of course, the Jaguars playing against the Bears, the Patriots playing against the Jaguars, and, of course, culminating on November 10th with the New York Giants versus the Carolina Panthers. But that game will take place in Munich, Germany as well. But looking at the matchups that are set for the international series, of course, you got Packers, Eagles to lead things off in Brazil for the first time. The NFL will be playing in the South America and, of course, in Brazil with the international series. Yeah. Will the Vikings-Jets matchup, Absurd or Approved, be the best overseas matchup we'll see this season?
Right as you're saying that, I think this was perfect because they have the schedule release and they went through all those games that you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. So that's perfect.
Funny how that works, huh?
Yeah, I know. I'd say, yeah, it's got my stamp of approval. This game's going to be interesting to me, and in no way, shape, or form, and obviously this is just it's too hard to tell at this point, but this is a good matchup for the Vikings, especially to kind of know where they stand on things. I know they'll start, their season against the Giants at New York. That will be interesting to see how they handle the Giants up there in New York, and they've got some new weapons, and their defense is a mess. No more Saquon Barkley, so you don't really have to worry about the running game besides Daniel Jones, but that is on the fritz with
you mean Chaniel Jones?
Yeah, there you go. That's good. So I think this is the best matchup. You look at Jaguars and Bears,
woof.
Meh. It could be better. So
I'm gonna skip that one.
I think, and then do the Jags play again against the Patriots, right? Is that what I heard? Jeez, that's crazy.
Yep.
That one, probably not going to be great because I still think the Patriots still have a lot to figure out. And the Giants and Panthers, this is the best matchup out of all the London. You can make an argument with Packers Eagles, but that's like right away. So I like this matchup. Rodgers going up against the Vikings in London. That's never happened before. So maybe we can beat them in London. I think that they possibly could, but it's too far out now to know. But this one, stamp of approval. This one's best matchup out of all of them. So Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, on paper, you look at it, ooh, Packers, Eagles, but if it wasn't for it being like the first or
Right.
second week of the season, you would probably say this is going to be the best matchup. You're going to have Jordan Love against Jalen Hurts. You've got an up-and-coming Packers team against a grizzled veteran squad in the Eagles. But again, it's like, I think, week 1, week 2 or something like that of the season, with that being one of the first matchups, and you're going to play it in Brazil. How are players going to adjust to obviously much further travel than, of course, just going to London, and you're going into obviously a different part of the world, with it being past the equator as well. That's going to be a big shock for everybody. But right now, on paper, you look at it, and it's going to be Jets against Vikings. If things are trending in the right direction for Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately, to be fully healthy this season, or at least give it a go, I would definitely put my circle the date on this one with that week 5 matchup against the Jets for sure. That's going to be the best matchup by far out of this group. Jaguars, yeah, they've got Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, they're kind of exciting, but you get the Bears, you get the Patriots, unfortunately, and then you finish it off with Giants against Panthers, which could be potentially playing for a number 1 overall pick matchup in that win versus loss contest, because we don't know what we don't know what the Giants are going to do this year. The Panthers, rough year,
unless what's his name, Bryce Young figures it out. But
they can protect him. We'll see.
Yeah, true. Lucas Christopher, our guy, says Darnold about to throw 300 against the Jets. Former team, hey, revenge game. Sam Darnold, baby, let's go.
Revenge game, baby. Here we go.
So, Voldy, we talked about this before the show, real quick, since this, coincides with what we're talking about. This is a Week 5 game. It's in London. Mm-hmm. There's been a question that was brought to our attention not only this week, but literally before the show. Does one J.J. McCarthy start that game, Week 5 against the Jets, against Rodgers in London? What do you think? Very bold early prediction. What do you got?
Very bold early prediction. I'm going to say yes. I think the first 4 weeks are going to be learning a lot about how the team is going to perform. If they finish at 500 or better, I say no. But if they finish at 1-3, you're at, God forbid we're at 0-4 at that point, I say you start J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold in that case. But if they're at 2-2 or better, I think you stick with Sam Darnold.
I like that. I think that's probably going to be the case. I think Darnold is going to be effective. I really do believe that. And the Vikings already reportedly said too that that he's or not Darnold, McCarthy's going to have this type of they're going to monitor how he progresses and things like that before they're like, okay, he's ready, like he's absolutely ready. So I'm going to say it's probably going to be Darnold. Revenge game. Let's go. So
let's go.
Let's
real
go
revenge game.
Sam Darnold. But I was going to say, so Voldy, right as I was talking, I looked up and there was the AFC Championship game before the game. Guess what they had up there? Travis Kelce and Justin Tucker. Where you pissed off a lot of Chiefs fans. And rightfully so, I say. Rightfully so.
Yeah, for sure.
That's true.
I
First game of the season, by the way, too. FYI.
Here we go. Come on, baby.
So
Justin Tucker about to get some.
Yeah, let's go. Let's go. All right, next one, Voldy.
All right, starting off, of course, with talks about a new NFL season. Well, a new quarterback tandem, if you will, in the Dirty South. ATL is catching a little bit of beef here and there. Looks like somebody is trying to catch a case, that being with Kirk Cousins. He made an appearance this week on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, courtesy of our friends at Barstool Sports. And reportedly talking about, of course, the conversation that didn't take place between a prized free agent signing Kirk Cousins and the Atlanta Falcons ahead of drafting another quarterback, that being Michael Penix Jr., number 8 overall in the draft a few weeks ago. Now, there was reportedly saying that Kirk Cousins out of his camp saying that he was shocked and disappointed about the decision to draft Michael Penix even after signing a $180 million deal over 4 years, $100 million of that being guaranteed. But in the conversation that did take place on the Bussin' with the Boys podcast, he says he had no beef with the organization about the pick, but quoted as even saying, I don't really believe in hypotheticals. We could go down that path for a long time in a lot of ways. It just doesn't do us any good. So I'm excited about the opportunity I have. It's a real privilege to be a quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm trying to make good of the opportunity that they've given me with the way I work each day and the way we play this fall. Now, with it being absurd or approved, do you believe that Kirk is not upset on the Falcons picking Michael Penix Jr. as the heir apparent over Kirko Chains in the ATL?
I think this, I miss playing this, and it's been a while, so.
Oh my God! Kirko, chill!
Kirko needs to chill. And, the quotes that he put up, because I saw what he had to say. And Kirk, in fact, does not like that. Now, Kirk and I have obviously been texting and talking a lot, but after he signed with the Falcons, radio silent. So I'm not 100% sure if he feels that way, but I'm going to take the shot in the dark. I'm going to take the shot in the dark, Voldy, that he I think he is upset. Because this is, you can't have a story where the Vikings were saying, look, we want you back, but we're going to draft a quarterback high this draft. And Kirk didn't want to have that happen. He didn't like that. He wanted to be the guy.
Right.
And he goes to Atlanta, and Atlanta goes and takes Penix. So there was no communication, and they called him and said, we're going to, right before they're going to pick him, hey, we're going to draft him. And then he said like, oh, okay. Like, but there was pure shock. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I think it's absurd. I think he's pissed about it. And I'd say rightfully so in some aspects, because the Falcons paid him like, you're our guy, we want you here and whatnot. Their idea is, we're going to ride with Kirk till his contract goes out, and then we're going to go with Penix, or, there's an opt-out thing. So I, for one, think that Kirk is quite P.O.'d about it. And behind closed doors and whatnot. So maybe this, maybe he has a really good season and he's able to put up some big numbers and, show them like, hey, he ain't going to be playing for a while. So I'm rooting for Kirk, because Kirk's still my guy, but not when they play the Minnesota Vikings coming up this season, later in the season. So, yeah, I think Kirk is saying all the right things, so people don't be like, oh, he is upset, like, oh, because you don't want that to percolate, I should say.
Right.
So, Voldy, what do you think?
I just love the fact that he actually answered the question without actually saying anything. He said a lot of words, but didn't really give an answer about how he's feeling.
Correct.
I think by that alone, he's got to be pissed over the moon about it. And what we've seen in the past, an angry Kirk is the best Kirk, and I think Atlanta is going to benefit from that in a very mediocre at best NFC South right now. That's going to be fairly wide open this season. Even if the Bucks do repeat the success that they had last year, I think he is upset. So it's got my stamp of approval there. But you look at it from the situation of the Falcons as well. I mean, you look at the quarterback talent that was there this year as well. I mean, you had 6 quarterbacks go off the board in the first 13 picks.
Yes.
That's completely unheard of as well. And you go get a guy that is going to be a little bit of a project, maybe just a little bit, given the injury history with Michael Penix, but you don't get Michael Penix Jr.'s falling in your lap every year in the draft. So I think it was a semi-smart move to go out and get him with that number 8 pick. In investing a lot that they had in Kirk with, $100 million guaranteed, $100 million over 4 years. He even in that interview, I listened to the whole interview. I love Busting with the Boys. It's a great podcast. It's also a great way to kill some time at work too. He said that even if he wants to play out this whole year, this whole contract, maybe get another 2 years out of that as well, playing well into 40 at that point in his career, even with the Achilles injury that he suffered last year. So playing 4 years, maybe another 2 after that in Atlanta before hanging them up. I mean, unless, knock on wood here, another injury for Kirk-Cousins. Michael Penix is going to be the backup for a couple of years at least. But I think it's going to play out. I hate to say it. It's going to play out well for the Falcons here. You get Kirk-Cousins, coming off the injury, playing well, getting accustomed with a new team and everything. And, at least get things going early on. You can kind of tutor a little bit with Michael Penix Jr. as well. Hopefully the same way that, you got like Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love, even though I hate making that comparison because it's the Packers. Could work out well for the Falcons in that regard. But is he upset? Absolutely. I would be. I would definitely be pissed if, somebody at my job is like, hey, we just hired this guy. He's going to be taking your job. We don't know when, but he's going to be taking over for you. So it's like, why am I even here? I'll go home. You guys are going to be paying me no matter what. I'll go home and sit on my butt all day. He can do the work. That's fine for me.
Well, Kirk's a very wealthy man. That's for sure. So, again, it's like, he shouldn't be complaining and, things like that. Well, he technically isn't, but I think he's pretty livid. At least the Vikings told him to his face.
Kind of sleazy. Yeah. I mean, the way he's gotten his money, not to be mean or anything, it's kind of a sleazy way to go about it a little bit. It's like, I want my money guaranteed. It's like, all right. It's some big brain stuff, but it's like, it's kind of skeezy a little bit, man.
I understand.
What you hiding? Why you need the money now? What you hiding? How many bodies you got buried in the backyard? What's Julie hiding? What's Julie hiding?
No. She's a saint. Leave her alone. No, it's interesting.
Nice lady.
It's interesting. So, let's move on to the next one, Vode.
Heading to the world of the NBA, of course, with the noted issues that have taken place medically for Bronnyjames. Of course, cardiac arrest and a procedure to repair a congenital heart defect 9 months ago, which did take place at the Mayo Clinic. Fun story about that for another time with the Mayo Clinic. The NBA has decided that they have cleared LeBron James, or I should say Bronny James, out of USC, and he was be cleared. He is medically cleared to be drafted by the NBA's fitness to play panel as well. So that makes him now medically cleared to be drafted if he so goes about to go that direction as well. Of course, taking place at the Combine with 5-on-5 scrimmages that will give NBA executives a much closer look at Bronny James, unfortunately, after a disappointing start to his college tenure at USC. Of course, with the numerous health and medical issues that he did take place. But even with the issues that did take place with his medical diagnosis as well, him declaring for the draft, but yet him being declared for the draft will also still give him the opportunity to still have college eligibility, something that doesn't regularly happen, because usually it's you declare for the draft, there goes eligibility right out the window, and you can't go back at that same time. But you look at, even after a disappointing start to his career at USC, even with the dismal numbers that he did have, is it absurd or approved? Bronny will choose going into the NBA over returning after another year of college, whether it be at USC or elsewhere.
Well, didn't he have like a post of like him like wearing different colleges and stuff like that? Or is that
something
just
like that? I think he is in the transfer portal technically, but like even that, he could still go back to USC, even though it'd still be weird.
Right. I guess I'm not like I really haven't followed the whole journey with him that much, but everyone's like, "Oh, would you play with your dad?" And look,
Yeah.
it's kind of to a point where it's like, well, if you're gonna choose the NBA, then go ahead. But I don't know. I think he probably starts in the G League if I'm not mistaken, unless they think he can make an impact right away in the NBA. But
God, no.
I mean, that's asking that young man a lot, and him being medically cleared, that's great, and that's what we want. That's what we want him to be, healthy, and obviously, we don't want the scare that happened with him,
Right.
Back.
Mhm.
That was a couple of years ago now, or yeah, I think about 2-3 years ago. So, I think it's got my stamp of approval. I mean, if he thinks he's got it, if whoever he's working with and whoever he thinks that, maybe he needs more development and maybe riding the bench for a few years, I don't know. Like, it doesn't really bother me anymore. Like, oh, you should stay in college and, up your numbers and this and that. Look, if you feel you're ready for it, hey, no one's going to stop you. You have, you have your superstar dad to fall back on. So, yeah, I think he's going to choose the NBA over college. Stamp of approval. What do you think, Voldy?
I think maybe the decision for him to explore his options in the NBA, I think it's more of let's see what's out there. Let's see what interests are we looking at right now. Kind of like, the way college football's kind of been the last few years or 10 years or so, like guys, obviously sitting out games while declaring for the draft. Let's see what kind of interest there is. Am I going to be a top lottery pick? I'm going to be, mid-late first round, early second round guy. If not, I'll go back to college for another year, live it up there, and light it up from that point. I think this is going to be more of a strategical it's going to be more of a strategery kind of situation. It's like, okay, let's see what kind of interest we have. He does have until May 29th to make a decision whether he's going to go back to college or if he's going to be declaring for the draft officially in that regard. But he is currently in the transfer portal right now. So I think even with, the Pac-12 and, obviously USC going to be joining the Big Ten, that's going to be something that might hurt him a little bit. So maybe he'll end up playing at, I don't know, maybe a Big 12 school, or maybe it'll be an SEC school or something like that. ACC, maybe even ACC school. Now, I don't know if he's going to be playing for Carolina or Duke, but maybe like Florida State, maybe Miami, something like that. I have no idea. But nonetheless, I think, I want to go out on a limb. I think he might go back to college. I think this is going to be more of a, what kind of interest do we have professionally? Had a rough year, 4.8 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists in only 19 minutes. It doesn't say how many games he played, but even as a freshman, it wasn't really overall that impressive, even as a freshman. Not to the same level of his dad, but he's got just not even a mountain. He has got an entire galaxy of pressure on top of him to perform at the level that his dad did at that point. I think it's absurd. I think he's going to go back to college for sure.
Well, if he does, why not the Gophers? Why not? Why not?
I wouldn't say no.
I wouldn't say no either. I wouldn't say no.
Definitely not.
So, well, it's up to him. I don't know. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, starting off, of course, with the WNBA season opening up, one of the most prized number one overall picks in quite some time. NCAA Division I's all-time scoring leader, Caitlinclark, made her debut with a team-high 20 points, but also did commit 10 turnovers in the debut with the Indiana Fever, which also was a 20-point loss to the Connecticut Sun. Of course, with Clark now entering in, of course, the world of professional basketball. Not exactly what you wanted to see out of the star with her debut, of course, with the 20 points. Good to see, but 10 turnovers. I'm going to have to clean that up even with, of course, that being the first time she hit on a WNBA court. There were notable signs as well where maybe she seemed flustered or getting a little bit more agitated than normal, even with last year's number 1 overall pick, Aaliyah Boston, getting her in her ear, at least talking things over on the way to the locker room at halftime. But you look at the overall play from game number 1 in a professional sense of for Caitlinclark, 20 points, 10 turnovers, I should say. Is it absurd or prove? Will Caitlinclark's troubles continue even heading into a full season in the WNBA?
I think it's absurd. It's one game. I think she's getting a feel for how things are going to be in the NBA or WNBA, excuse me. She's that once in a generation type of player that you want on your team. I mean, the Indiana Fever are just absolutely. They are blessed to have her, and she is going to clean up the turnovers and things like that. I mean, this isn't a person that's just going to be like, is going to be happy with that stat line and be like, I mean, she's going to work her rear end off to make sure, like, hey, like this isn't going to happen in the next game. So I am not worried about her at all. I think she's going to have one of those games where she's just going to, be draining buckets from the logos again. So, I mean, it's going to happen. She's going to work hard, and she's still, we got to remember that sometimes it's going to take time before you're like, oh, she's up to that level and whatnot. I mean, she will be. It's just some people are like, game 1, she's got to have it. She's got to have it. She's just absolutely, if not, we're screwed. Right. No, give her a couple games and she'll be fine. I mean, there's a reason why she was the top college basketball player for pretty much 2-3 years or whatever. So I'd be curious. My younger sister was watching the documentary series that they were doing with Caitlinclark, Cardozo, and I believe I forget her first name, something Rice or something like that from UCLA. She's very good too. So I think it's very cool, and she'll be fine. I think it's absurd. She won't have those troubles come the next few games. So, Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's absurd. I mean, just look at the way the last month has been for her, from playing in a long stretch of the NCAA tournament, losing in the national championship, then going on a run to being drafted number 1 overall in the WNBA draft, and picking up and moving her life from, Iowa all the way to Indiana at that point. And now maybe hopefully getting a chance to maybe slow down a little bit, get more accustomed to the style of play in the WNBA as opposed to college, where you get 1, maybe 2 good players and you can just go on a run and one girl's putting up 30, 40 points, maybe even 50 points a night. We've seen that a few times out of her. But I think in the WNBA, completely different skill set. Everybody can score. Everybody can rebound. Everybody can run up and down the floor. You got the best on the best on the best. It's about how do you fit your role and your niche to set you apart from everybody else, because obviously the world's best are playing in that league, with more teams coming as well. I just saw that Golden State has got a team coming next year, and the year after that, Toronto is actually getting a team in the WNBA. So that's great to see the expansion of that league with more opportunity for players in the future as well. I think it's absurd. It's really just a crazy time for her, of course, considering the fact that she was drafted, a month ago or something like that.
I know. That's insane to me.
I know. Imagine if the NBA was like that. You get drafted and it's like, all right, 6
a month later, all right, let's go.
Exactly. couple of preseason games, like, all right, here you go. Right into the thick of it. 82 games. Let's hammer it out. But no, I think it's absurd. I think once she gets at least a chance to settle down, get accustomed to the professional game, she'll be just fine.
One tidbit of information. The Lynx play the Fever twice this season. Woo-hoo. And one of those nights being the number retirement for Maya Moore, which was Caitlinclark's inspiration growing up and whatnot. So
Didn't do that on purpose at all.
no, not at all, not at
No,
all,
no.
no.
Pandering, no.
It makes sense.
Come on,
So,
man.
but that's great. I think that's I think that's going to be fun, and there's going to be a lot of people at that game because I believe one's at Indiana, one's at Minnesota. So, I'll be looking forward and hopefully watching that game because that'll be fun. Get a lot of buzz in the city for sure. All right, we're sticking with the WNBA, Voldy.
That's right. Of course, the WNBA, this is a story that has already come to fruition and already players seeing the benefits of which the plan to commit $50 million over the next 2 years to provide full-time charter flight service for teams in the W over, of course, this season and the next season as well, in a move that addresses years of player safety and concerns as well. It's hard to believe that even in a professional sport, even with it being women, that chartering flights is still somewhat of I don't want to say a novelty or a luxury, but just something you don't even really think about until it actually happens. Of course, this does come off the heels of many instances with long security lines, bodyguards in public places, and even cramped legroom for some of the taller gals as well. Layovers for the professional athletes that have even seen the growth of the game in the last handful of years. Of course, now you even throw in the Caitlinclark effect with the WNBA. But of course, now with the transformation that has been with the WNBA in the last handful of years, going from the times of, even more recently with Maya Moore, now the handing over to the likes of, you throw Breanna Stewart, you throw the recently retired Candace Parker, now to Caitlinclark. You look at how it's all changed now, looking at, is it absurd to approve the chartering of flights that will provide further stability for the WNBA as it goes even forward? I mean, we just briefly talked about even with the expansion of the league too.
Yes. So I would say for me, it's definitely got my stamp for approval. People are noticing, and I think there was a lot of outrage of how much Caitlinclark is being paid for her contract. It's like $75,000 or something like that. Obviously that's just ridiculous and whatnot. So there's going to be more changes coming with, and obviously them getting paid more and expanding, I think, is huge in this instance. So yeah, I mean, them having the charter flights now, I mean, it's been a long time coming. They should, they deserve it. They have enough buzz, for sure. Now, the thing is that I think they're getting more viewers. They're getting more people interested, especially with Caitlinclark being able to do what she did these past few years with college basketball. I think she'll be able to do that with the WNBA. So it's got my stamp of approval. I think they'll have a lot of stability. There's going to be a lot of interesting matchups too. Like, for one, I'm curious to see Caitlinclark go up against Sabrina Ionescu, Kobe's protege, too. Yep. That's going to be a fun matchup. I definitely want to check that out.
Clark, for sure.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of cool matchups. Obviously, the Lynx are, they got their first win the other night, and Collier is back and better than ever, and they added I think she's from UCLA or Utah or something like that. I forget her name, but the draft pick, their first round draft pick, seems to be a good addition too. So
yes,
stamp of approval. This is gonna provide a lot of stability for them. Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, you even really look at, of course, really the real straw that broke the camel's back, of course, with everything that happened with Brittany Griner overseas, and just she becoming, I don't want to say a face of the league, but now a lot of eyes are like, obviously with Brittany Griner, for lack of a better term, she stands out in a crowd. She's 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
With all the news attention she got over the last couple of years, too. It's hard not to miss Brittany Griner. I even remember all the way back when she was playing at Baylor, too. I mean, she was a force to be reckoned with. on and off the court, you recognize obviously with player safety nowadays, because you get all the people that, how much growth and expansion of women's sports there has been in the last 4 or 5 years, all the way up to now. You get some of these players that are really speaking up about how they need to be treated at the same level. Maybe not like at the same level. You get professional athletes like the NBA, teams traveling, a lot of recognizable faces. You get people in the airports looking, staring, wanting autographs, hounding for autographs, photos, and all that. And it comes down to player safety too, especially traveling team, because, NBA, WNBA team, they're not traveling with 100 people, at the most. I mean, you get 12 players on a roster, maybe 13. Want to say 20, 25 people on a team or something like that. You're telling me you can't charter a flight for 25, 30 people? That's not including like front office, media people as well. That's like bare bones team as well, coaching staff, training staff, whatever mental, physical, psychological coaches are on the team as well, beyond obviously athletic trainers and stuff like that. It comes down to obviously a safety factor, and that's one thing. Recovery from playing, obviously you get a team that's playing in Phoenix. Now they got to go cross country all the way to New York or something. That nobody wants to charter, nobody wants to get on a commercial flight with Delta, maybe a layover in Kansas City to Indianapolis, then to New York. That's just way too much. And you can charter a flight from Phoenix all the way to New York, bing, bang, boom. Everybody gets a few hours of sleep and recover before you hit the hotel room. And that's going to be a huge help. Like we talked about with the expansion of the league, that's going to help, stabilize that a lot more. It's got my big time stamp of approval for sure.
It's just getting bigger and bigger each year. It's cool to see, and it's well deserved for one too. So, that'll do it for AA this week. Great job as always, Voldy.
Thank you, sir.
We went through that pretty quick, and there was a lot to cover. A lot of fun topics. All right, Shield shoutouts. Very special Shield shoutouts tonight. Something that you're kind of not expecting. Some of you already know probably what one of them is. But let's just get our intro going, and we shall reveal it. So let's get it going. What's that? Shoutouts.
Shield shoutouts.
All right, Shield, who ya shouting out tonight?
Well, earlier in the week did receive confirmation, and actually very vital information that, of course, here at MinneZona Sports Life, that there is actually a MinneZona Avenue out there. No, it's not here in Minnesota, but of course we did. I had a little bit of assistance, or at least a little bit of help in finding out where this is. Matt, can you confirm where we got this information from? It's in Arizona, correct? This MinneZona Avenue, correct?
Correct. MinneZona Avenue is in Scottsdale, Arizona. Shout out to my brother-in-law, Nick Vandenplas, for finding.
I thought it was Nick, yeah. Shout out to Nick.
Because he's actually, he is the best man in one of his friend's wedding for a bachelor party, nice. And he came across it and was like, I got to show this to Matt. And obviously, that's how we forwarded it. We were expecting Voldy trying to find one of those signs, a copy of it. So
something like that. I am more than willing to pay all legal representation fees for his time in jail. Pay for the bail. I will pay for the transportation of said signs back to Minnesota as well. And any way, shape, or form, hopefully the jail does take Venmo, because I'd be more than willing to help a brother out in case he gets caught up in Arizona taking some road signs as well. But hey, bachelor party, hey, there are no rules when it comes to a bachelor party. But shout out to Nick for that lovely gem of a find there as well. Do got to send our well wishes and hopefully a speedy recovery to Jimbo. Jimbo is on the mend right now after his second knee replacement surgery for him, as he had surgery just yesterday, I should say. So he is back resting comfortably in the condo right now. So hopefully he'll be back up and ready so we can get the boat dock and jet ski lift in the water here for Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll keep our fingers crossed there and send him our well wishes. Sadly, of course, with MinneZona Sports Live and Shield shoutouts, we do have to say, unfortunately, a very sad rest in peace to former Minnesota Twin, first-round pick and Olympic gold medalist Sean Burroughs. He sadly passed away just this past Friday at the age of 43. A very unexpected, untimely passing for him as well. It was a guy marred by, unfortunate circumstance, kind of along the lines of an early, Josh Hamilton, minus all the drug abuse that Josh Hamilton went through as well. Right. But a guy that did go through trials and tribulations to go from a first-round pick, a very high pick in the 2000 MLB draft, to get to the major leagues, ended up playing in the twilight of his career, a season or two in Minnesota, but sadly did pass away here this past week with him at the age of 43. So that will do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
Yes, that's shocking because I do remember him and whatnot. And Jimbo, hopefully, it sounds like he'll be back up and at him very soon.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
And MinneZona Avenue, baby. We love you over there in Scottsdale, Arizona.
Got to get one of the road signs look real good right back here.
It would. Hey, we got respect for you guys, and we're happy to try and make that happen. Or we can just make one and get that whole deal. But you got
but it always comes with a good story. You got to do it for the story.
Sure. We just
gotta like I gotta make my way down to Shieldsville, Minnesota. I know it's a real place.
True.
Shields Place, Shields Alley, Shields Way. There's street signs, always Shield on them, and I will make out like a bandit one of these days.
There you go.
Literally.
So, great job with Shield Shoutouts this week, as
Thanks,
always, Voldy. So you guys know the deal. We got merch, and Victor is getting his MinneZona drawstring bag. Yes, Voldy's got it right. Oh, is that gray on there, Voldy?
Yeah, this one's mine. I'm just holding it for all the other.
Well, it looks great either way. It looks great. Fine. But these are the ones that you'll be.
Yes,
these are
you'll get the black
that he'll be getting and whatnot. Mm-hmm. They're awesome. I definitely use them, as you can see. Right. But we have merch, people. We've got the shirts, we got the stickers, we got the hats. The whole deal. Look at those bad boys. They are awesome. And in HD, too. So that is also good. So we got, 4th of July is coming up. Just FYI. It's not too far off. But the camos are the hot item, too. Make sure you check those out as well. You know the deal with the shirts, the stickers, the hats, and all that sort of stuff. Sweatpants still available if you want to get them. Before the snow flies, because, again, that's probably coming up as well. We also have the Tumblers as well. If you guys want to rep MinneZona, drink your coffee, water, the whole deal. We
Great
can
summer
do that
cups,
for
people.
You. Yeah, that's very true. Very true.
Out on the pontoon.
Couple of
pops. So you're good to go.
Yeah, you're good to go. We also have the hats. If it's a little cold at night, you can throw on a MinneZona cap. Winter cap, they're great. We love having those, and they kept me warm this winter, I will say. It was great. So, with that being said, W2 Performance, Will Rattel at www.w2performance.com. Videos daily. He's doing a fantastic job. Thank you to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers. And make sure you check out the victorious P.O.D. with Tyler Hermann, Jack Vickers. It's getting closer. Football's getting closer, especially with the football schedule coming out. TLS Performance, our guy, Troy Stoudemire Jr., he's posting daily as well. And another show that you got to check out, Popcorn Bucket List with Nick Dahlhoff and our guy, the Rhino, Ryne, Myhrberg, and Omni Entertainment. Keep up on all the latest movies of the whole deal. So shout out to those guys as well. That's going to do it for episode 193. And, we were wrong about the Wolves, but here's what we're going to say. Go Wolves. Prove us wrong. Please, just do it. Prove us wrong and just get it done, man. I still believe, but at the same time, I'm not optimistic. That's why I made the predictions that we made earlier. So, go Wolves, #Wolves back, and by the way, we forgot to do this too, Voldy. Acknowledge your tribal chief. Nas Reed. Nas Reed. Let's go. Come on.
Got the beach towels back, too. Acknowledge
That's right.
him.
That's right. Make sure you get those as well. So, with that being said, folks, as always, remember, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.